हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your kind association. Let's recite our Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Cakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namah Vishnupadaya Krishnapristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Let us recite our memorization verses for module number. Which module is this now? Five? Five. Module number 5. तस्यारविन्दनयनस्य पदारविन्द किञ्जल्कमिश्रतुलसीमकरन्दवायु अन्तर्गतस्वविवरेण चकार तेषाम् संक्षोभम् अक्षरजुषाम् अपि चित्ततन्वो नेह धर्माय न विरागाय कल्पते न तीर्थ पद सेवायै जीवन अपि मृतो हि सः प्रसंगम अजरं पाशम् आत्मन कवयो विदुः स एव साधुषु कृतो मोक्षद्वारम् अपावृतम् तितिक्षवः कारुणिकाः सुहृद सर्वदेहिनाम् अजात शत्रवः शान्ताः साधव साधुभूषणा सतां प्रसंगान् मम वीर्य संविदो भवन्तिरित्कर्णरसायना कथाः तज्जोषणादार्ष अपवर्गवर्त्मनि श्रद्धारतिर्भक्तिरनुक्रमिष्यति हासं हरे हासं हरेरवनताखिललोकतीव्र शोकाश्रुसागरविशोषणम् अत्युदारम् सम्मोहनाय रचितं निजमाययास्य भ्रूमण्डलं मुनिकृते मकरध्वजस्य मद्गुणश्रुतिमात्रेण मयि सर्वगुहाशये मनोगतिरविच्छिन्ना यथा गंगाम्भसुम्बुधौ लक्षणं भक्तियोगस्य निर्गुणस्य उदारितम् अहेतुक अव्यवहिता या भक्ति पुरुषोत्तमे सालोक्य सारष्टि सामीप्य सारूप्यैकत्वमपि उत दीयमानं न गृह्णन्ति विना मत्सेवनं जनाः यन्नामधेय श्रवणानुकीर्तनात् यत्प्रवणाद् यत्स्मरणादपि क्वचित् स्वादोऽपि सद्यः सवनाय कल्पते कुतः पुनस्ते भगवन्मुदर्शनात् अहो बत श्वः पचतो गरीयान् यज्जिह्वाग्रे वर्तते नाम तुभ्यम् ते पुस्तपस्ते जुहुवु सस्नुरार्या ब्रह्मानुचुर्नाम गृह्णन्ति ये ते हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We are going to begin chapter 15 of the third canto of Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam, verse number 1. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.15.1. Shri Maitreya Muni is telling Mahatma Vidur about the fall of Jay and Vijay as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Maitreya Uvacha Prajapatyam tu tattejah paratejo hanam ditihi dadhara varshani shatam shankamana surardanat. Translations and purports by our beloved founder Acharya, His Divine Grace Shri Srimad Abhay Charanarvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Shri Maitreya Muni said, My dear Vidur, Diti, the wife of the sage Kashyap Muni, could understand that the sons within her womb would be a cause of disturbance to the demigods. Surardanath. They will be a disturbance to the demigods. As such, Diti continuously bore the powerful semen of Kashyap Muni, which was meant to give trouble to others for 100 years. Varshani Shatam. Diti knew that her progeny would be enemy of the demigods and would give trouble to the demigods. So she did not want to give birth to Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. So by her own willpower, she postponed the delivery for 100 years. She continuously bore the pregnancy in her womb. Purport. Second sentence, Srila Prabhupada writes, when Diti heard from her husband that the sons she bore within her womb, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, would be causes of disturbances to the demigods, she was not very happy. Prabhupada says there are two classes of men, demigods and demons. Non devotees are demons, and devotees are demigods. No sane man or woman can tolerate the non devotees giving trouble to the devotees. Nobody can tolerate non devotees giving trouble to the devotees. Diti therefore was reluctant to give birth to her babies. She waited for 100 years so that at least she could save the demigods from the disturbance for that period of time. In this material world, we can postpone suffering, postpone the karma. We cannot avoid it altogether. Abrahma stamba paryantam sarvam mayamayam jagat satyam satyam punah satyam harer rameva kevalam. Everything will be destroyed in this world except Krishna, except Krishna's name. Spiritual substance is avyay. It is inexhaustible. It is not destructible. Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san. Text 2. Loke tena hata loke lokapala hataujasaha न्यवेदयन् विश्वसृजे ध्वान्तव्यतिकरं दिशाम्. By the force of the pregnancy of Diti, the light of the sun and moon was impaired in all the planets, and the demigods of various planets, being disturbed by that force, asked the creator of the universe, Brahma, what is this expansion of darkness in all direction? Dvanta Vyatikaram Disham, everywhere this darkness is spreading. What is going on in this universe? Even the sun and the moon could not give light. The darkness was spreading everywhere. Purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, it appears from this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam that the sun is the source of light for all the planets in the universe. The sun is the source of light to other planets. Sun gives light to Earth, sun gives light to the moon, sun gives light to all other planets. The modern scientific theory, which states that there are many suns in each universe, is not supported by this verse. Modern scientists say that the stars are all suns. But according to Srimad Bhagavatam, that is not the case, Srila Prabhupada says. It is understood that in each universe there is only one sun which supplies light to all the planets in that universe. The demoniac influence of the suns in the womb of Diti expanded darkness throughout the universe. It was the demoniac influence of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu while they were in the womb of Diti that all this darkness was spreading everywhere. Text 3. Deva uchuhu tama etad vibho vetha samvigna yadvayam bhrisham nae avyaktam bhagavatah kalena sprishtavartmanah. Deva uchuhu, the demigods were all devotees. The fortunate demigods said to Lord Brahma, Vibho, O great one, just see this darkness, which you know very well, and which is causing us anxiety. Because the influence of time cannot touch you, there is nothing unmanifest before you. In other words, they are saying, the demigods are praying to Lord Brahma that you know everything. Just see this darkness that is spreading. Please do something about it. We are feeling very concerned. Purport. Lord Brahma is addressed herein as Vibhu, and also Bhagavatah, addressed as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead's incarnation of the mode of passion in the material world. Who? Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, as incarnation of the mode of passion in the material world. So Brahmaji is incarnation of the Supreme Lord to control the mode of passion. He is non-different in the representative sense from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, Brahmaji is, in one sense, also um, non-different from Lord Vishnu, because Brahmaji is also a Guna avatar. So he's also avatar, responsible for controlling mode of passion. And therefore, influence of time cannot affect him, as mentioned in this verse. Influence of time does not affect him. Kalena asprishta. Sprishta means to touch. Asprishta means untouched. Kalena means by time. The influence of time, which manifests past, present, and future, cannot touch higher personalities like Lord Brahma and other demigods. Sometimes demigods and great sages who have attained such perfection are called Trikalagya. Trikalagya, they know everything, past, present, and future. So the demigods are respectfully addressing Lord Brahma like that, as Bhagwan, as Kalena Asprishta, untouched by the influence of time. Because time influences everything and everyone in this material world. Our homes become old, our cars become old, our bodies become old. Time deteriorates everything in this world. But this time does not have influence on Krishna and great devotees of Krishna's like Lord Brahma. Text 4. Deva Deva Jagadhatar Lokanatha Shikhamane Paresham Aparesham Tvam Bhutanam Asi Bhavavit. Hare Krishna. O God of the demigods, Deva Deva, matlab Devo ke Dev. O sustainer of the universe, the demigods, Devatagan, are praying to Lord Brahma like this. They are addressing Lord Brahma. Jagat Dhata, you are sustainer of the universe. You are the head jewel, Shiromani, of all the demigods in other planets. You know the intentions of all living entities in both the spiritual and material worlds. He is Lokanatha Shikhamane. He is the money on the head of all the demigods. So they are glorifying Lord Brahma very highly. Bhutanam Asi Bhavavit means you know what is the intention, what is in the heart of all living entities. You know their intentions. Brahmaji knows by Krishna's arrangement. Purport. Because Brahma is almost on an equal footing with the personality of Godhead, Vishnu, he is addressed here as the God of the demigods. And because he is the secondary creator of this universe, he is addressed as a sustainer of the universe. Atra Sargo Visargascha. That Visarga is secondary creation, it is done by Lord Brahma. Sarga, primary creation, is done by Lord Vishnu. Sorry, I forgot to read her. It is not difficult for Lord Brahma to understand everything which is happening in both spiritual and material world. He knows everyone's hearts and everyone's intentions. Therefore, he was requested to explain this incident. Why was the pregnancy of Diti causing such anxieties all over the universe? So all the devatas, they go to Lord Brahma and ask him why this Diti's pregnancy is causing so much trouble. Why the darkness is spreading everywhere. What is going on? Please tell us. Text 5. नमो विज्ञानवीर्याय माययेदम् उपेयुषे गृहीतगुणभेदाय नमस्ते व्यक्तयोनये. O original source of strength and scientific knowledge. Namo Vijnana Viryaya. Vijnan is the scientific knowledge. O original source of strength, O original source of scientific knowledge, all obeisances unto you, you have accepted the differentiated mode of passion from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. With the help of external energy, you are born of the unmanifested source. All obeisances unto you. The demigods are glorifying Brahmaji by saying that you are the original source of all strength and scientific knowledge in this world. Vijnan means scientific knowledge, and Virya means vitality and strength. With the help of external energy, you are born of the unmanifested source. Namaste Avyakta Yonaye. Brahmaji has unmanifested source. All obeisances to you. Namaste. The second line in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, Vedas were first impregnated into the heart of Lord Brahma by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavai. Therefore, Brahma is the original source of all scientific knowledge. He is born directly from the transcendental body of Sri Garbhodakshai Vishnu, from the lotus, who is never seen by any creature of this material universe and therefore always remains unmanifested. Because the source of Lord Brahma is Lord Garbhodakshay Vishnu, but how many of us can see Garbhodakshay Vishnu face to face? We cannot. But he is the origin of Brahmaji. Therefore, we say Brahmaji's origin is Brahmaji's origin is from Avyakta source, from an unmanifest source, because Lord Vishnu, who is the source of Lord Brahma, is not visible to our eyes. So Brahmaji is called Avyakta. Um, where is that verse? Avyakta Yonaye. Purport, second sentence, second line. Vedas was first impregnated into the heart of Brahma by Supreme. Therefore, Brahma is the original source of all science. He is born directly from the transcendental body of Sri Garbhodakshay Vishnu, who is never seen by any creature of this material universe and therefore always remains unmanifested. Text 6. Ye tvananyena bhavena bhavayantatma bhavanam atmani prota bhuvanam param sad asadatmakam. The demigods are praying to Lord Brahma. O Lord Brahma, all these planets exist within yourself, and all the living entities are generated from you. Therefore, you are the cause of this universe, and everyone who meditates upon you without deviation attains devotional service. This is the effect of being with a great devotee like Lord Brahma. Anyone who meditates upon Lord Brahma without deviation attains devotional service. This is Mahajan. 12 Mahajans, one of them is Brahmaji. Text 7. Tesham supakva yoganam jita shwasendriyatmanam labdha yushmat prasadanam na kutaschit parabhavah. There is no defect in this material world for persons who control the mind and senses by controlling the breathing process and who are therefore inexperienced, mature mystics. This is because by such perfection in yoga, they have attained your mercy. Here is There is no defeat in this material world for persons who control the mind and senses by controlling the breathing process, and therefore experienced who are therefore experienced mystics. This is because by such perfection in yoga, they have attained your mercy. Hmm. So we must control our senses. Without controlling senses, we cannot perform yoga. Srila Prabhupada's purport, uh, sixth line from the top in the purport. It is indicated herein that a yogi who has control over the mind and the senses has the actual benediction of the Lord. विषय छाड़िया कबे शुद्ध हवे मन कबे आम हेरिबो Shri Vrindavan. A yogi who has controlled the mind and senses has actually received the benediction of the Lord's mercy, and he has no fear. In other words, one cannot attain the mercy and benediction of the Supreme Lord Vishnu until one is able to control the mind and senses. This is actually possible when one fully engages in Krishna consciousness, because param drishtva nivartate. We have to give ourselves a higher taste. A person whose senses and mind are always engaged in transcendental service of Lord Krishna has no possibility of engaging in material activities. So, what do we do when material activities come knocking to us? We have to adopt the strategy of Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur, where we just keep busy in our bhajan. We have no time. We have no time. That's the best way. Neglect it. That's the best way to um, avoid Maya. Text 8. Yasya vacha praja sarva gavastantyeva yantritaha haranti balim ayattas tasmai mukhyayate namaha. All the living entities within the universe are conducted by the Vedic directions as a bull is directed by the rope attached to his nose. No one can violate the rules laid down in the Vedic literatures. To the chief person who has contributed the Vedas, we offer our respect. They are all offering their respect to Lord Brahmaji. At the same time, they are making an important point. The Devatas are saying all the living entities within the universe are conducted by Vedic directions as a bull is directed by the rope attached to its nose. So there is a metal or wooden pole, there is a long rope which ties the bull. Now the bull can move around the pillar in the center based on the length of the rope. It cannot go beyond that. It doesn't have the independence to go beyond the barricade. And within the barricade, it has a right to do whatever it wants. So we have both destiny and free will. No one can violate the rules laid down by the Vedic literatures. So the demigods are glorifying Brahmaji that, oh Brahmaji, you have created the Vedic literatures. The four Vedas come from your four mouths, and no one can transgress the laws mentioned in the Vedas. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitya. And Krishna has given the Vedas. The Vedic literatures are laws of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This we have to understand. Vedic literatures are the laws given by Supreme Personality of Godhead. Couple sentences down. The conditioned souls who have come to this material world for material sense gratification are regulated by the injunctions of the Vedic literature. Sense gratification is just like salt. One can take too much or take too little. But one must take some salt. Sense gratification is like salt. What is Indriya Tripti? What is sense gratification? It is like salt. Prabhupada says it is like salt. One cannot take too much, one cannot take too little. But one must take some salt to make the food palatable. These conditioned souls who have come to this material world should realize their success according to the direction of the Vedic literatures. Otherwise, they will put in a more miserable condition. So The point here is we have to control sense gratification, like salt. It should be there, but not too less, not too more. We have to be regulated by the Vedic principles. Text 9. Sattvam विधत्स्व शम्भूमं तमसालुप्तकर्मणाम् अदभ्र दयया दृष्ट्या आपन्नान् अर्हशिक्षितुम्. The demigods prayed to Lord Brahma, O Lord Brahma, please look upon us mercifully, for we have fallen into the miserable condition. Tamasa lupta karmanam. We have fallen into miserable condition. Because the darkness, all our work has been suspended. Look at the darkness that is spreading because of Diti's womb. We don't know what is the problem. Purport. Because of complete darkness throughout the universe, the regular activities and engagements of all the different planets were suspended. Because if there is no sunlight, what can you do? Where will you get the energy from? एष देवदितेर्गर्भ ओज काश्यपम् अर्पितम् दिशस्तिमिरयन् सर्वा वर्धते अग्निर इवैधसी. As fuel overloads of fire, so the embryo created by the semen of Kashyap in the womb of Diti has caused complete darkness throughout the universe. The womb of Diti, which held Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, it spread darkness all over the universe. Purport. The darkness throughout the universe is explained herewith as being caused by the embryo created in the womb of Diti by the semen of Kashyap Muni. To spread in darkness everywhere. Demigods are scared. They go to Lord Brahma, glorify Lord Brahma, and pray to him. What is going on? Why is there darkness everywhere? Maitreya Uvacha सप्रहस्य महाबाहो भगवान् शब्दगोचरः प्रत्याचष्टात्मभूर्देवान् प्रीणन् रुचिरया गिरा. Shri Maitreya Muni said, thus Lord Brahma, who is understood by transcendental vibration, tried to satisfy the demigods, being pleased with their words of prayer. So Lord Brahma understood the prayers of the demigods and he tried to satisfy them. Purport. Brahma could understand the misdeeds of Diti and therefore he smiled at the whole situation. Sa prahasya mahabaho. Prahasya. Krishna was smiling even when Yudhishthira Maharaj was complaining so badly. Hmm? What did I say? Lord Brahma tried to satisfy the demigods because Lord Brahma was pleased with their prayers. Now, Lord Brahma could understand the misdeeds of Diti and therefore he smiled at the whole situation. Prahasya, he smiled. Prahasya. Because demigods are worried, they are praying, Brahmaji, help us. What is going on? What is going on? But Brahmaji knows the mystery. Therefore, he smiled. When somebody is describing something, wondering how this is happening, why is happening, how, why, and you know the answer, you'll smile. Okay, okay, let me explain. Let me explain. Text 12. Brahmovacha Manasa me suta yushmat पूर्वजा सनकादयः चेरुर्विहाय सालोकान् लोकेषु विगतस्पृहाः. Lord Brahma said, now Lord Brahma is replying to the demigods. My four sons, Sanatan, Sanandan, and Sanat Kumar, who were born from my mind, are your predecessors. Brahma is telling all the demigods. Before all of you, the four Kumaras came from my mind. And sometimes they travel throughout the material and spiritual skies without any definite desire. They like to travel. Brahman, they are liberated souls. They like to travel. purport, when we speak of desire, so they travel without any definite desire, means Prabhupada is saying what is the meaning of desire? When we speak of desire, we refer to desire for material sense gratification. So they travel without desire means they're traveling without any desire for material sense gratification. भवद्विदा भागवतास्तीर्थ भूता स्वयं विभो तीर्थी कुर्वन्ति तीर्थानि स्वान्तस्तेन गदाभृता. Saintly persons like Sanak, Sanatan, Sanandan, and Sanat Kumar, the Chatu Sana, the four Sanas, have no material desire, Srila Prabhupada writes. But sometimes they travel all over the universe out of their own accord to preach devotional service. Text 13. त एकदा भगवतो वैकुण्ठस्यामलात्मनः ययुर्वैकुण्ठ निलयं सर्वलोक नमस्कृतम्. After thus traveling all over the universes, they also entered into the spiritual sky. Chatusana had the power to go to Vaikuntha. They entered the spiritual sky, for they were freed from all material contamination. Because they were freed from all material contamination, they had access to Vaikuntha. In the spiritual sky, there are spiritual planets known as Vaikunthas, which are the residents of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His pure devotees, and are worshipped by the residents of all the other material planets. Sarvaloka Namaskritam. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, in the bottom half, in the spiritual sky, the planets are known as Vaikuntha because the residents of these planets are free from all anxieties. For them, there is no question of birth, death, old age, and disease, and therefore they are not anxious. On the other hand, the residents of the material planets are always afraid of Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, birth, death, disease, old age, and therefore they are full of anxieties. In the material world, anxiety. In the spiritual world, no anxiety. Material world, kuntha. Spiritual world, Vaikuntha. There is no anxiety. Here, Srila Prabhupada says, there are, in the spiritual sky, there are spiritual planets known as Vaikunthas. My understanding is, based on what I have read and what I have heard, this planet where the Chatusana reached, it is the Prapanchik Vaikuntha planet. It is the Vaikuntha planet within our Brahmanda. In my understanding, it is not that the Chatusana crossed beyond the Brahmanda. They went through the covering layers, the 8 covering layers of the Brahmanda, traversed through the Brahma Jyoti, and reached the Vaikuntha planets in the Paravyam. And the verse doesn't say it like that either. So this, in my understanding, this refers to the Prapanchik Vaikuntha planet of this Brahmanda. Within the material world, there is a spiritual planet called Shvetadweep, Vaikuntha planet, where Lord Kshirodakshay Vishnu eternally stays with Lakshmi ji on Shir Sagar, and Lord Anantashesh. The bed is Lord Anantashesh. Pada Sevanam is done by Shri Lakshmi Mata, and Lord Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu, is living on this planet. So my understanding is it was this Vaikuntha planet, Prapanchik Vaikuntha planet, where Lakshmi Narayan live. There are other residents also who live in that Vaikuntha planet, assistants of Mother Lakshmi who are always serving Lord Vishnu and Mother Lakshmi. Text 14. Vasanti yatra purusha sarve vaikuntha murtayah ye nimittena dharmena harim. In the Vaikuntha planets, all the residents are similar in their form to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sarupya Mukti. They all engage in devotional service to Lord Vishnu without desire for sense gratification. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says the residents and the form of living in Vaikuntha are described in this verse. The residents are all like the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan, four-armed form. Further down, Srila Prabhupada writes, in Vaikuntha Lok, there is no occupation but service of Lord Vishnu. And this service is not rendered with a purpose, it is ahaituki. And although every service has a particular result, the devotees never aspire for the fulfillment of their own desires. Devotees are not doing karma kand in the spiritual world, that I will do this for Krishna and then Krishna will give me this. Their desires are fully fulfilled by rendering transcendental loving service to Lord Vishnu. Text 15. Yatra chadya pumanaste bhagavan shabdagocharaha sattvam vishtabhya virajam swanamno mridayan vrishaha. In the Vaikuntha planets is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the original person and who can be understood through the Vedic literature. He is full of the uncontaminated mode of goodness, with no place for passion or ignorance. Vishuddha Sattva. He contributes religious progress for the devotees. Our spiritual progress depends on Krishna. Krishna is the original person. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, the kingdom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the spiritual sky cannot be understood by any process other than hearing from the description of the Vedas. No one can go see it. It's not that we take a spacecraft and go to Vaikuntha, not possible. Because Vaikuntha is spiritual, our spacecraft is material, our body is material. So it will not work. In the next paragraph, Srila Prabhupada says, in the material world, there are three modes of material qualities: goodness, passion, ignorance, sattva, rajagun, tamogun. But in the spiritual world, there is no trace of the modes of passion and ignorance. What is there? It is sattvam. But which sattvam? Not material goodness. It is uncontaminated by any tinge of ignorance or passion, which means it is not just sattva gun, but it is vishuddha sattva. Because in the material world, sattva gun also is contaminated by passion and ignorance. When sattva gun is completely pure and transcendental, it is called vishuddha sattva, shuddha sattva. Further down, Srila Prabhupada says, in the Vaikuntha world, the spiritual sky, only the mode of goodness in its pure form exists. The Lord and his devotees reside in the Vaikuntha planets, and they are of the same transcendental quality, namely Shuddha Sattva, the mode of pure goodness. The Vaikuntha planets are very dear to the Vaishnavas, and for the progressive march of the Vaishnavas towards the kingdom of Godhead, the Lord himself helps his devotees. Tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. Tesham evanukampartham aham ajnanujam tamah. Nashayami atmabhavastu jnanadipena bhasvata. Text 16. Yatra naishreyasam nama vanam kama dughair drumaihi sarvartu shribhir vibrajat kaivalyam iva murti mat. In those Vaikuntha planets, there are many forests which are very auspicious. Kadamba Kanana Rasaparayana Vrindavipina Nivasi. Kadamba Kanan. Many forests are there in Vaikuntha, very auspicious. In those forests, the trees are desire tree. Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadruma. The desire trees. And in all seasons, they are filled with flowers and fruits because everything in the Vaikuntha planet is spiritual and personal. Srila Prabhupada says personal. Murtimat. Nothing impersonal. In the Vaikuntha planets, the land, trees, fruits and flowers, cows, everything is completely spiritual and personal, Prabhupada says in the purport. Everybody is a devotee. The trees are desire trees. Further down, there is no difference between the tree and the animal or the animal and the man in the Vaikuntha. Here the word Murtimat indicates that everything has a spiritual form. Satchidananda Vigraha. Everything has a form. Okay? So we'll stop here. Beautiful description of Vaikuntha will continue. Krishna willing, day after tomorrow. We'll continue from verse number 17. So Chatu Sana have reached Vaikuntha planet. And let us see what happens there. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Hari Bo. Diti postponed her pregnancy by 100 years. Can you all give me an example that we have studied so far in Bhakti Vaibhava course of a devotee postponing bad news? Diti's children were bad news for this world. Something that we have covered so far in Bhakti Vaibhava, where a devotee postponed bad news. Yes, Ajay Govind Prabhu, you, Shamchandra Prabhu and Shama Vallavi Mataji, you are ready with the answer, or you raised hand for question? Okay, so I think Ajay Govind Prabhu has answer.
The son of Vyasadeva stayed in 14 years in the womb of the mother.
Shri Shukdev Goswami? No, but he stayed because he didn't want to expose himself to this world of Maya. I am saying someone who postponed giving bad news.
Oh, okay.
A good try. Shama Kishori Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prajit, Dandat Pranam. Is it when Vidur,
Very
was
good.
it about the disappearance
Very
of
good.
Yadus?
Yes. Yes. Hari Bol. Excellent. When Vidur came, he didn't feel like giving that news because it would be too painful. So he spoke about everything but the disappearance of Krishna from this world. That is the heart of a Vaishnava. They don't want to give bad news. They don't take pleasure in giving bad news. They are paradukha dukhi. Okay. Yes, Shamchandra Prabhu and then Shama Vallavi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandat Pranam. Thank you for your wonderful class. Jai Shri
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jai Vrindavan Dham.
Jai, Jai, Jai. So, Prabhu, slightly confusing on verse number 3, where it is mentioned that, I mean, demigods, when they are glorifying Brahmaji, so they are saying that Lord Brahma is above the time factor. Whereas we learn that A Brahma Puna, A Bhunal Brahma Loka Punar Avartana Arjuna. Brahma is also under time factor. It's clearly mentioned in several places.
Yes.
There's no escape. And second thing is, so this is one part. Other part is where Prabhupada mentions in the purport of text number 8 that sense gratification is like salt, where you should have optimum, like not too much, not too little. Whereas Brahma, when he talks about his own children, Kumaras, he says they are so pure that they are not at all into any sense gratification activities, completely out of material desires.
Hmm.
So to reconcile these 2 points, that is, one is about Brahma's time factor influence,
Hmm.
which we prove, and second thing is that sense gratification should be compared to salt. And of course, if time permits, you can also the thought about Kumaras not reaching the actual Vaikuntha, but going into Prapanchik Vaikuntha. Whereas in subsequent verses, Prabhupada mentions in the purport that this Vaikuntha is spiritual sky Vaikuntha that he's describing. So maybe this, can you just explain this?
Yes, and even in the translation, Srila Prabhupada writes, if you look at the translation to your third question, if you look at translation of verse number 13, 1-3, look at the translation. Look at the verse and look at the translation. So the verse doesn't really say everything that Srila Prabhupada has translated in the translation. Srila Prabhupada translates, after this traveling all over the universes, means there are so many Brahmas. These mental sons of mind-born sons of Lord Brahma, the Chatushsana, Prabhupada says, after traveling all over the universes, means different universes, they entered the spiritual sky. In the translation, Prabhupada says that. Even though in the verse, if you see the verse, it doesn't say like that. And then Prabhupada says, in the spiritual sky, there are spiritual planets known as Vaikunthas. That also the verse doesn't mention. The verse, if you look at the Sanskrit verse, it simply says that they reach the Vaikuntha planet. So, Srila Prabhupada is writing it like that for us to understand that yes, there is a spiritual sky where there are many Vaikuntha planets. And where you said, Prabhupada said that Jai Vijay went in the Paravyoma.
No,
He
I
went,
didn't say that.
uh,
I'm saying when Jai Vijay stopped the Kumaras from entering inside. So
hmm.
Jai Vijay were in the spiritual sky Vaikuntha. No, they were not
No,
in.
Jai Vijay are there in Prapanchik. So Prapanchik Vaikuntha planet, Prabhuji, it is exactly like the Vaikuntha planet in the spiritual world because it is presided over by Lord Kshirodakshay Vishnu. So it is also Vishnu, Lord Mother Lakshmi, there aboard. So it is exactly like the Vaikuntha planets. Only thing is that it is situated within the Brahmanda.
But where is the Praman Prabhu for us to realize that this Kumaras went into material universe Vaikuntha and not into
So
spiritual?
this I heard from Pavaneshwar Prabhu when he came to Atlanta and gave the presentation because he said that the Jai Vijay who are eternally in Vaikuntha, they never fall down. They never fall down. And so this fall down of Jai Vijay happened from the Prapanchik Vaikuntha, the Vaikuntha planet within this universe. Um, but I know Srila Prabhupada has translated it like that, that they
Yeah.
went to the
You're
spiritual.
mentioning spiritual sky.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
also, since Brahmaji says ki, the Kumaras were completely free of all the material contamination, so there is every reason to believe that they have gone to the spiritual sky Vaikuntha, no?
No, even the Prapanchik Vaikuntha, one cannot go unless one is completely pure.
Okay.
Yeah, one cannot reach the Vaikuntha, Prapanchik Vaikuntha planet unless and until one is qualified to go to Vaikuntha. Some little traces uh, may be left and to associate with the Nitya Siddhas in the Prapanchik Vaikuntha planet, a Jiva may go and then from there be promoted to the Paravyoma, spiritual sky where there are many Vaikuntha planets. But I'll have to research on this. Um, but just based on my understanding, it doesn't seem right that the Chatusana they pierce through the layers of the Brahmanda, they cross the Viraja river, and they went into the Paravyoma sky. And then which Vaikuntha planet did they go to out of the millions of Vaikuntha planets? So I have to research this, Prabhuji.
Okay.
But to me, it makes more sense that it is the local Vaikuntha planet, Prapanchik Vaikuntha planet in this Brahmanda.
Yes, yes.
These Chatushana going to other Brahmandas also, it is not mentioned in the verse. Srila Prabhupada writes it in the translation. So I'll have to do some research in the Laghu Bhagavatamrit of Srila Rupa Goswami. What
And
exactly?
Prabhupada is Prapanchik, then Lord Brahmaji can go to Prapanchik Vaikuntha planet any number of times he wants. Because
He can, so
in
he
what
goes, whenever we see now that
demigods?
beginning of the 10th canto, when there is disturbance and Brahmaji goes to pray to Lord Vishnu, he's going to the Prapanchik Vaikuntha planet
Yeah, Milk Ocean.
with all the demigods. So it's not that Brahmaji took all the demigods and went in the Paravyoma. Oh, it's always in the Prapanchik Vaikuntha. Durvasa Muni, when he was running from Sudarshan Chakra, he also went to Prapanchik Vaikuntha. Not that Durvasa pierced through the layers of the Brahmanda, went outside the Brahmanda. No, it's all happening within this Brahmanda. So in all these instances, Durvasa Muni, Brahmaji praying for Krishna to descend, and Chatusana going. Previously also Chatusana going and smelling the fragrance of Tulsi from the lotus feet. That will also come now. So all this is happening in the Prapanchik Vaikuntha planet is my understanding, Prabhuji, and it makes a lot more logical sense to me. But I have to find proper praman. I may have to ask Pavaneshwar Prabhu. He had given some reference that time, but I'll have to ask him. And I have heard from other sources also that it is not in the Paravyoma. One goes, even from Hari Parshad Prabhu, I have heard. Hari Parshad Prabhu had told me that if some slight tinges are left, then one goes to the Prapanchik Vaikuntha planet, gets trained in the association of Nitya Siddhas, and then goes to the Vaikuntha planets in the Paravyom, spiritual sky. That I've heard from Hari Parshad Prabhu also, but I have to ask them where exactly is it coming from. And Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj also, I have heard from Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj this concept of Prapanchik Vaikuntha planet. When we say now that someone is chanting 16 rounds, someone is following four regulative principles and dies, leaves the body, devotees are doing kirtan, devotees are putting tulsi leaves, the devotee is wearing kantimala as he is departing his body. And we say he was a nice devotee, he was following four regulative principles, he was initiated, he was chanting 16 rounds every day, he was serving in the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Very nicely situated devotee, had a very auspicious death, had a very auspicious passing away. We say he must have gone back to Godhead. Now we know that devotee, it is not that the devotee was manifesting symptoms of Krishna Prem. It's not that the devotee was experiencing Ashtasattvic Vikar. It is not that the devotee was completely free of material talks. So how do we say that this devotee went back to Godhead? So Haripasha Prabhu had explained that the first station is the Prapanchik Vaikuntha planet, where this very purified devotee will go, associate with the Nitya Siddhas, and make spiritual advancement, and when completely pure, will be able to enter the Paravyoma. So that is what I have heard, but again, I have to get a proper praman for that. So is that,
Okay, Prabhu.
there's a third one. No, sorry.
Yeah, that was the third one, correct, Prabhu. And the first one was why Brahma is above the time factor as per the demigods. When Bhagavad Gita says that Brahma Bhuvana Loka, Punaravartana Arjuna.
Correct. So that is the Bhagavad Gita is correct that even Brahmaji's planet is temporary. Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. Or Brahma Stambha Paryantam Sarvam Mayamayam Jagat. That verse also is there from Keval Ashtakam. Now here if you see the purport, Prabhuji, purport to verse number 3. Srila Prabhupada explains the answer to your question. Srila Prabhupada says Lord Brahma is non-different in the representative sense from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore the influence of time cannot affect him. Which means, Prabhuji, the position of Brahma is temporary. It's a post. A particular jiva may hold the post of Brahma for 100 years of Brahma and then die. And then in the next creation, someone else will take the position of Brahma. If a qualified jiva is not available, then Krishna himself in his expanded form will incarnate as Brahma. So that is there. Now, also previously you will remember we in one of the Bhakti Vaibhava classes we read that when the jiva enters the material creation for the first time, the jiva gets to be Brahma. You remember? All of you remember that? Hmm? So, Shama Kishore Mata, you remember? The jiva enters the material universe, first gets to be a Brahma. You don't remember? But some of you remember? I was in Cincinnati in that class, and Hari Parshad Prabhu was also there as a guest. And Hari Parshad Prabhu was answering he did the Q&A that session. You remember? Arey? All of you are also sleepy like me or what?
No, we remember Hari Parshad Prabhu and the class we remember, but that particular thing that
So
the jivas
this,
first become,
so this was the
that we are
question.
not.
This was the question asked that how is it possible? There are so many jivas. How everybody can become Brahma, Brahma, Brahma? How can Shamchandra Prabhu be Brahma? How can Amrit Gaurang Mathur be Brahma? How can Mukta Sangha be Brahma? So we were all Brahmas, Prabhupada says, in a purport in the 9th canto. All of us, when we come in the material creation, our first birth is Brahma, as Brahma. So the question was asked, what is the praman? What is the praman for this? So then Hari Pasha Prabhu said, I have already researched this topic, and he used the word reverse engineering. I traced it back where this quote came from, and from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's Patravali, he showed the reference that this was said by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, that when a jiva enters the material world for the first time, material creation, he gets the opportunity to be Brahma, Lord Brahma, and then falls. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says that Bahirmukha Brahma Janme Nahi Ash. I don't want to become a Brahma if he is Krishna Bahirmukh, if he is not a devotee of Krishna. So as far as the research goes, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada seems to be the first Acharya to have made this statement that we were Brahma when we first came. So why was I saying all this? So the position of Brahma is temporary, but a qualified soul, not a Brahmaji like that who falls, but like our Brahmaji is Acharya. He is the Sampradaya Acharya of our Brahma Sampradaya. So he's a Mahajan. So like that, a Mahajan Brahma, even though his post is temporary, but this Brahma being a empowered incarnation of Krishna, he's a guna avatar of Krishna, because the Prabhupada is saying in the purport, because Brahmaji is a guna avatar of Krishna and Krishna is beyond time, we can say that Brahmaji also, as an guna avatar of Krishna, is beyond the influence of time. In that sense, being as an avatar.
But Brahmaji comes under Jiva Tattva only,
Brahmaji comes under Jiva Tattva, but he's empowered by Krishna as a guna avatar, and he's a very powerful Jiva with all the 50 qualities manifested in full, whereas we have those 50 qualities in very minute quantities. So Brahmaji is a Jiva. In exceptional cases, when no qualified Jiva is available, like we said, then Lord Krishna himself incarnates as Brahma. But otherwise, Brahma is a Jiva. But because he is empowered and he is a Guna avatar, Prabhupada is saying, in that sense, the demigods are calling him beyond the influence of time. And Shamchandra Prabhu, I will tell you something. Now, this this is not something I've heard from our Gurujans, or it is not explicitly said here in Srimad Bhagavatam purports, and I may be wrong, but this is my understanding, Prabhuji. We have to see the context. Who is saying these verses? These verses are all spoken by demigods who are right now very perplexed. They are tormented, they are scared, and they are going to Brahmaji for shelter. And therefore, in their utsaha, in their enthusiasm, they are, you are Gunati, you are Deva Dev. Deva Deva is meant for Krishna, Deva Deva Jagatpate. In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna is called Deva Deva. So all those terminologies are being used for Lord Brahma. And Srila Prabhupada is in the purport explaining ki, why like this, why like this. So he's even called Bhagwan in verse number 3. Brahmaji is called Bhagwan also. So we have to see the context that this is not um,
Self-statement.
the demigods under so much pressure, under so much stress are speaking these verses. So I don't know if we should treat these verses and this glorification of Lord Brahma as much as a pramana as Gopi Geet, for example.
Right. Got it.
You have to see who is speaking those verses also, in what context. So, so if Shukdev Goswami in his Mangalacharan says this for Lord Brahma, then it is different.
Yeah.
But the demigods, they are going to Brahmaji for help in an emergency situation, and they are glorifying him beyond limits. So that glorification also we need purports. Therefore, Prabhupada everywhere he says why he's called Vibhu, why Brahmaji is being addressed as Devadev. So to say Brahmaji is beyond the influence of time is stretching it. And the only way we can accommodate that and say that this statement is true is by seeing it through the lens that, okay, Brahmaji is a Guna avatar of Krishna. So in that sense, okay, he's Bhagwan, he's Devadev, he's Vibhu, like that. So that is my
Okay.
understanding.
Okay.
Now, what was second question? I forgot.
That example of sense gratification with salt
Hmm.
in
Yeah,
Prabhupada's
so again,
purport.
so that Prabhupada is saying sense gratification is like salt for sadhaks like us. Now, if we are told कि बिल्कुल भी sense gratification मत करो, don't do any sense gratification, कार्तिक का महीना है, only हविष्य, only मूंग दाल and rice, no salt. Now, there are devotees who are doing that. In Vrindavan, there are devotees who have taken that vrat. They do for all 4 months like that. So, this statement that sense gratification is like salt, don't overdo it and don't underdo it also. This refers to sadhaks like us because we cannot completely give it up. So at least don't overdo it. For example, अभी भक्ति वृक्ष है उसमें if we say what is the need for prasad, the भक्ति वृक्ष happens in the evening 6:30 7 o'clock onwards. उतना लेट तो साधक कभी खा पाते नहीं है प्रसाद. Practicing devotees don't eat that late, otherwise they will get pramad, they will get tamas, they will be in the mode of ignorance रात को खा के. So let's do this. Bhakti Vriksha, no prasad. Now that may work for a devotee who is practicing for 20-25 years, but it may not work for devotees who are 2 months into Krishna consciousness or 6 months into Krishna consciousness. So for practicing devotees, like most of us, we have to use sense gratification as salt because we cannot give up salt completely. So take it optimum, not too much, not too little. But that does not apply to Narad Muni or Chatusana because they are pure devotees. They are acharyas. They are mahajans. So it doesn't apply to them. They don't need that salt. They can have saltless diet also. Like Srila Radha Govind Maharaj. For so many years, he has been given saltless diet and he never complained. AC less room, but never, never complained. But for most, so this statement of Prabhupada that sense gratification is like salt refers to us practicing devotees because we cannot completely give it up. So don't overdo it like that. Is that make sense?
Clear. I was thinking, as a BP patient, I have to give up salt anyway. So मेरे लिए दोनों चल जाएगा. I
So
don't
now
need salt. I
it
don't
doesn't
need
apply to you also now. You are in that category of Mahajan.
No, not that way. As a health reasons, I am saying.
Yes, yes, yes. Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
bro. Thank you so much. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Canto Prabhu. Thank you. Shama Vallavi Mataji,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. My humble obeisance is
you are
Prabhuji.
you are testing the memory of a tired Worn out fellow.
Prabhuji, mine is a
You're
simple question, Prabhuji. Mine
putting
is a
your
simple.
legal name there. Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Prabhuji, this demigods, they are inhabitants of Svargaloka.
Hmm.
So they go to Brahma Loka, means this darkness is up to Svargaloka only. This the things because of that darkness comes, that is up to Svargaloka.
Yes, looks like that. Prabhupada says all the planets in this universe are illuminated by the sun. And even the sun's brightness was being affected by the darkness being spread by these two embryos in the womb of Diti. So yes, looks like Swargalok, there was darkness. But they are saying, Brahmaji, look, this darkness. You know everything. That means even from Brahmalok it was visible, that darkness. Brahmaji could see.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mukta Sangha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Sanjam Param Vrajet.
So this is not a question, Prabhu. Just wanted to share from Srila Prabhupada's purport in
Yes.
the 9th Canto, 24th chapter, 58th verse, that both the Lord and the living entity, being qualitatively spirit soul, have the tendency for peaceful enjoyment, but when the part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead unfortunately wants to enjoy independently without Krishna, he is put into this material world where he begins his life as Brahma and is gradually degraded to the status of an ant or a worm in the stool.
You like this purport very much. Huh? That day also you had only shared this purport.
Is it?
Yeah, I remember. Mukta Sangha Prabhu likes to share this. He likes to remember that we were Brahmas. Now he is Bhakti Vriksha leader.
Worm in the stool, Prabhu.
Ben Salem Bhakti Vriksha leader. Used to be Brahma. Hare Krishna. Yes. Thank you. I remember you had only shared, I think, that time also this purport. So you became very enthusiastic when that purport was mentioned. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, dear devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Jai
you.
Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. Radha
Thank you
Damodar
so much.
Bhagwan ki
Thank
Thank you so much,
Jai.
Prabhuji.
Dandavata
Hare Krishna.